today just because at the start of the meeting Adrian's going to do presentation. Hannah's going to show her presentation and just do a little bit about a couple of her clients as well. So so I've got this recording. It's more about feeling like you're ready for this week with you guys presenting. Adrian's got his still online, whereas Hannah is back and loving being in person at B&I Midas in Brisbane. What's the name of the venue you're at, Hannah?
The Story Bridge Hotel.
The Story Bridge Hotel.
Oh, it's beautiful. I love the Story Bridge Hotel.
Yeah, it's good.
Good. Well, when I finally get up there, hopefully I'll get along to the Story Bridge. What's the name of your venue, Emily?
The United Services Club.
So which one would you suggest is the better venue?
I like the Story Bridge Hotel because it's got more character. The United Services Club is very strict.
Cool. Well, Anthony's are probably going to finish up in the best venue of us. Or actually,
I think so.
Mine's going to be pretty close. I went past Kooyong on the weekend, but me and Adrian aren't actually going to be too far. I'm in Perth, which sits right above the actual water at the Docklands, right? So it's an awesome venue. And then, and Adrian, where are you guys looking at? You're in North Melbourne somewhere, right?
We're trying Errol Cafe or something in North Melbourne.
On Errol Street, okay.
So I'm not sure if that's... not sure if we're going to be there long term yet. We're just doing a trial, so we'll see.
Cool.
I think Above Water's the winner.
Yep. Well, Adrian, I think we'll make it a little bit your show. So, and because Hannah did sort of do a little bit this last week, you guys might want to include this, at least acknowledge that you are on traditional lands with your presentations. I'll leave that up to you, but it's something you could always just slide in with your presentations if you wanted to be ahead of the curve when it comes to that. What are we doing today, Adrian?
Okay. We are going through my presentation. We're also going through Hannah's presentation. And then this week we're continuing on with a little bit of information about our clients in our Dify speech and doing some more learning. Right, Steve?
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit around that. As I said, prior preparation prevents piss poor performance, but I'm not that prepared for the back half of today, but we'll do it together. So that's done. Adrian, is it? I think we acknowledge at least one of us acknowledged the traditional lands. Right, so what about you share screen then, Adrian? I'll stop sharing and you share your screen, in fact. So stop is the left-hand one.
Yep, so you just want me to go through my entire presentation?
I think you could probably go through. You've done it for 6 minutes, so why not?
Okay, let's go. Okay, so look, I might just skip this little bit because you all know me. So
you should give a 10-second version of that. We don't know you, and there's things we might not have known you from last time.
Before you told me to skip it, and now you told me to...
I'm older. I changed my mind.
Okay, so just in this section then, since we're sticking with Adrian P. Marandino, can any of you guess what my middle name is?
Paul.
Okay, Steve, you're the one that sees it on my payslip every week. So
that was kind of unfair, Steve. I'll be honest with you.
Oh, true. I have known the longer. Damn it! That's that competitive nature. I just wanted to get it in, so I got one in. Sorry.
Don't worry, we all know you know everything, so it's all good.
I've got some bad news though. Do people remember what my middle name G stands for?
Oh, Graham.
I don't think
good.
that's
So
it.
there you go. So Adrian, that's what you could do next time. Is just what Steve's middle name is. My middle name is Garrick, right? Garrick. My dad's name is Garrick, and my his brother was Richard, but everybody called him Dick. So Garrick is kind of brought them together, right? But we bought Goldfish, and we have Titan, which is Huong's middle name, and we have Tim, which is Oliver's middle name, and we had Garrick. And I say in past tense, we had Garrick, because Gary 1's now passed away. I had to bury him on the weekend.
Oh.
Very sad to say goodbye to Garrick. Anyway, sorry, Adrian. Adrian,
That's okay.
Was that all you wanted to ask on your other slide?
Yeah, that's enough. I'll just continue. Okay. Yep. Okay. So why Diffy Social? We really like to pride ourselves on our core values here, creating that have fun, do good culture. The B&I philosophy, givers gain. We also like to follow those philosophies as well. At Diffy Social, we like to give back by donating to B1G1, which means a lot to all of us in our communities. Okay, our longer term goals are focused on building awareness and relationships for our clients, and we use Facebook advertising, which enables us to create those short term goals with creating more business opportunities for our clients. So we have a no smoke and mirrors policy here at Diffy, so we like to ensure our clients can best understand what we do and how we can help their business online. So we always like to do an audit. Yep. And all our sort of services and pricing can be found on our website. We are also including a coin. So if anyone's interested in learning about that, you can get in contact with me. Yeah, so over here in number 1, you can see Diffy social services. No amount of social media marketing will help a business without the right business strategy in place. It will only make a bad business fail faster. So here at Diffy Social, our strategic marketing model, over in number 1, you can see where social media sits within the small business house. It only makes up a small part of our marketing communications and promotions. If we move down the page, this is how we place you and your business and strategic others online. We mainly use social media to educate or to entertain. We have a social media content strategy that we repurpose content on your website to educate your audience to attract and retain new customers. So this is why we like to highlight some key information on your website to social proof your website. So you can see we always say having your social links up the top right corner is really important, and having a Facebook pixel also is as well. If we move down, these are all the social links that we work with. Where we have Google and YouTube, which are more the search engine, compared to Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter, which are all social links. There's a difference between those two. But Facebook really is still the dominant one here, because it's still the dominant industry. So less than 50% of businesses use social media, and the Yellow Pages social media report tells us that this is a credible opportunity with only small businesses, only 13% of them have had a particular strategy in place. So our strategy allows us to create such an affordable model, which in turn provides a good return on investment for our clients. Okay, with our customers, we like to work from the bottom up, so person, location, business, and brand. As you can see here, here's some insights that we have with Facebook advertising for our clients. Although it's slightly down, we can see over 45,000 people, which is incredible for small business owners to reach that many people. Moving on, we compare the results. We compare the results to video promoted posts. Even though with our videos, reach is a little bit lower, we can see we have a far greater video to content and cost per click ratio that we have with our through plays. So if this video in particular is only costing us 3 cents, which is really incredible. It's a really impressive medium that we can use to apply for ads as well. So it's important to use not only Facebook advertising, but we also look at other forms of insights as well through Instagram and stuff like that. Really good to have a whole overview. Yep. Okay, so a good referral for us looks a lot like businesses we already work with, past or present. And you can see a few of my clients here. If you would like to see some more of our clients that we have worked with, you can find them all on our Diffy Social blog on our website. So our target communities are generally small business owners in your network, age 40 to 60. Businesses range from sole traders to small to medium-sized business. We work well with businesses that are passionate about what they do, that might not know too much about social media, but are also open to exploring and having professionals take care of it for them. So thank you. My preferred method of contact is LinkedIn, email, or phone. Thanks again. I'm Adrian from Dify Social.
Awesome, Adrian. You could probably stop screen sharing, and maybe Hannah, if you want to see if you can screen share from your end. One of the things, I was on Clubhouse, and I see a few of you have jumped on now too, which is awesome. But I was on there, and I literally got tough love from Roy and Michael with regards to what we actually do, right? Because Steve, let me explain it, because I did actually, Emily, have that conversation. Is not all clients are like Roy. Steve,
Yeah.
I get it, right? Which is actually quite good. He does get it, right? So let me tell you what you do, Steve. You give small businesses return on investment for their social media. That's what you do, Steve, right? So when we're talking about those insights, so firstly, Adrian, acknowledge, and I'm sure you'll do this, it was just because we were going through with ourselves, but you'd acknowledge that this is Andrew, who other people know in the room. You'd acknowledge this is Jeff. You'd make sure you take at least that sort of 15 to 30 seconds. We love working with Andrew and Jeff. This is Wendy, who was referred to us by Anthony. Wendy's great. She's got this video going that we're about to launch. So you'd acknowledge them, and you just because they're your classic. These were referred to me internally or externally. Yeah, so they're a great way of acknowledging, who we work with. And great for you to be able to show those insights, right? So you spend a little bit of time on it. So even you're actually probably even educating Andrew and Jeff a little bit, right? In that, right? So when you're actually doing that, you're actually showing their insights. But when, particularly in our model, understand that it's all about. I've often always said it's all about competitive advantage, which is probably the other thing you'd add. It's about competitive advantage and return on investment. Because let's face it, if we're not giving them competitive advantage and return on investment, are they going to stay with us? Probably not, right? So it doesn't matter how good a job we get, unless they think they're getting return on investment, they're probably not going to stick with us, right? So let's, and myself included, let's start including that sort of ROI, which when people see it. So it's not just about, I guess I was making the mistake of saying, hey, wow, this is amazing. Look at these eyeballs. We need to start telling people how many eyeballs are getting viewed here with our clients. But it's not actually the eyeballs. It's what the eyeballs enable. The eyeballs enable return on investment and the engagement, right? Does that make sense? It's as a result of the combined marketing, the habit of posting, and the advertising. That's what enables return on investment and competitive advantage. So I reckon if we all get really good at sort of sharing that story, we're gonna. It just becomes easier to have people then understand why. Why would I do this? Oh, you do this because you get a lot more people seeing your stuff, and you're ultimately, we want to give you a return on investment for the time that we take to manage things and the advertising spend that you're doing. Cool. All right, Hannah. Sorry, do you want to give your Don't ask me to guess your middle name, because I think you actually make it visible on your one. So
yeah, it's on my Facebook.
I think everybody does know that. So did you? Yeah. Did you want to? Did you
What
want to
is
just?
it?
Did you want to whiz through?
Yeah, I
your
mean,
one?
I can't see my notes, and I need to practice before Wednesday, but I'll put it in view.
Sure.
Oh.
Can you see?
So pretty much like I've said before, this is me. I try to follow Dify Social's values in my everyday life, having fun, do good, community, involving myself in the community to where I travel to, friends, So I sort of can't see my notes.
You might want to call yourself Hannah Jane, so they do know the distinguish. So that you know
like
how we
my professional account.
Yeah. Otherwise, so in fact, maybe that's what we could do.
Oh, like Hannah Jane there.
So
yeah.
if you call yourself Hannah, then they're going to say, "I found two Hannahs." You know what I mean? Particularly on Facebook. So maybe just update it. In fact, maybe what you could do is you could go through and we can have a look at this. And Adrian's updated a few of his little slides, so it can give you a little bit that you might want to update as you go through. You don't have to do it this second, but yeah. But just maybe not just Adrian and I, but others might have a little bit of feedback too, potentially. And then we'll get to, as you said, the ones you're going to show off.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool. So let's call yourself Hannah Jane. I think is probably that way people will be able to find the right Hannah. you typically focus around passion too, right?
Yep. Yeah. So passion for what you do, and I believe in, being driven by your passions is how you can succeed in your life. So at Dify Social, our mission is to protect, build and grow businesses using social media marketing. Our purpose is to gain competitive advantages for businesses using social media marketing tactics that include Facebook advertising, which I'm going to talk about later in my presentation.
And you did it for us last week too. So
I've done.
Yeah, so I can just update. You might have seen, I think it was yesterday. So we've just got an updated picture for B1G1. So I'll and that's sort of
one?
which is not that one. So so I'll update that image for you if you like. I'll go in and have a look today after and just add a couple of things that we added into Adrian's as well. So this is saved in your B&I folder, yeah?
Yeah, it's called New, this one.
Okay,
so,
no worries.
Yeah, it's Hannah, B&I and New.
Sweet. Cool.
So I've sort of talked about all that last week.
Yep.
We love working with professional, fun, essential and online businesses. So these are just some of the clients that Dify works with more specifically. Wendy down the bottom left, she's a marketing affiliate for a skincare brand. Awards Australia is an events client. They hold awards around Australia. And then you've got products such as Bounty Boxes, which is a hamper business, and Triple Scented, which was candles that were sold online.
So glad that Young Achievers, the Awards Australia, is actually still live because it's got 7 News all over it. I kind of suspected that page might disappear.
But surely they'd be allowed that because it's like a... Are they not really allowed that?
Well, anybody that... So realistically, remember Facebook, they're at odds, right? So, yeah, they don't want any aligned businesses. So I did hear of ones that had nothing to do with news, but they were still just promoting. So even last week, when I found out about it, if you go and then pick up a post that's from Channel 9's news saying, oh, this isn't very fair because, the kids' hospital is no longer able to promote or whatever. And so that would be a good example, right? So down here in Melbourne, they do an annual, it's the telethon really for the Children's Hospital, right? And so that page shut down. So it's not just the direct news, right? Similarly, clearly Westpac has links to different ones too. So there's other pages that were impacted, not just the news channels themselves, right? So that's the thing. So anyway, so it's a good news story for us is that we're actually still alive. In actual fact, we also started advertising for them on the same day that all the news channels got shut down. So and it is something we'll talk about it later, but yeah, we might get asked about in terms of last week was a big week with regards to Facebook. It's fair to say.
Yeah. So this is my first case study, which is for Awards Australia. And as I mentioned, they host awards events around the country in all the capital cities for, community awards, Young Achiever awards, and they get sponsored by people like 7 News. As you can see there, they've got... who's the guy in the picture, Steve?
He's an MP. I don't know his name. Yeah. Is he an MP or he actually maybe a newsreader? I can't remember.
Yeah, I think he looks like... Oh, maybe I'll find out because that's quite interesting. But so I took this screenshot on the day we started paid Facebook ads for Awards Australia. So we are doing $10 a day on them, trying to increase brand awareness and its reach, I think, Steve.
Traffic. Well, we'll call it traffic for the sake of it.
Yeah. And so this post had about, it reached about 100 people, which is pretty good for organic. But within like 2 hours of the ad running, this post had reached 580 people, which is pretty amazing. So
Yeah, so I probably really have you clear on that. You probably at 2 hours, it probably had spent $2, right? So I would almost say that, I wouldn't even say that. I would basically say to people that you might start by saying, look, we only just started to promote this. I took this screenshot before any advertising has realistically started running. So watch this space. Because this is pretty much organic from the time that you've been managing it, right? So that's the increase is largely as a result of organic. It's not as a result of the ad yet. So tell them to watch this space because we're doing a 5+5 awareness and traffic promotion for this particular client, and we think it's going to go through the roof. Right, so the next time you report, you'll probably be showing 60,000, 70,000, I imagine, right?
Yeah. Watch this space because we've only just started advertising, so the numbers are sure to increase by a lot. And then my next case study is Wendy Bryant, and she's a marketing affiliate for a skincare brand. So My Essence has hired people to be marketing affiliates. So she's got an affiliate site connected to the skincare website, and obviously every sale that she gets a certain amount of profit from that. So that was sort of her aim in gaining awareness and return on investment, as you mentioned, Steve. So we've been advertising for about a month, and as you can see, the numbers are much higher. She would have been at $5 a day, and brand awareness traffic as well. And you can see that in just a month, 32,000 people have seen her post, and 134 engagements, 151 over the month. So
So one of the key takeaways here is, again, and I love the two slides you're showing because you can see the start date when there was no ad, and all of a sudden the ads have started. This probably isn't a complete month yet, from what I can tell looking at that, maybe. Or maybe it is. But anyway, you don't have to tell everybody in the room that. But clearly what they could see is 22,000 reach and an engagement. So what it often needs people to understand is we can't guarantee you sales results. But this stuff we can guarantee. We can guarantee a lot more people are going to see your stuff. We can guarantee a lot more people are going to go to your website if that's what we're promoting, or they're going to engage with your posts. That's what we can guarantee. It's up to you to basically sell it from your site or sell it in person. But what we can guarantee is we can get a lot more people seeing it, and that your return on investment likelihood is in this case, I don't know how many thousands more percent, right? But it's a lot higher. So that's what you really emphasize here. You don't really need to give the backstory around the client too much. She's just got an affiliate link. She's an affiliate of a beauty brand, health and beauty, and look at the difference in a very short amount of time. Because again, you've probably done this for 6 weeks, Hannah. 6 weeks, $5 a day. Be very specific, right? $5 a day. That's all she's spending, right? 20,000. Amazing. 180 people engaging. Awesome. It's not telling us how many links through to site, but we kind of know that that's happening. But that's where the client will tell us as well, It's a bit like Wayne for Ben saying busy as, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So cool. Yeah, sell the what's happening here, right? It's the bit of sizzle, yeah? For particularly people that don't know. Most people won't ever know to look at this. They would never see numbers like this, right? If you're just looking at your page normally, yeah? So you're pointing out to them where they can go and see this data, right? So if I go and I'm in Ben's chapter, or even Carlton now, right? So Carlton, for instance, in Ben's chapter, knows that he's not getting this, right? And others in the chapter will also know that as soon as you show this, right? Cool. Awesome. And now you're going to really bust them open, because then you've got bounty boxes.
Yeah, so Bounty Boxes is a hamper business, and they've been with Dify for around 6 months now. They came on in September, and as you can see, this post here, which would have been $5 a day as well, has reached 142,000 people, which is pretty surreal. So with such little ad spend, you can have this many eyes seeing your posts for your products, and as you can see, 1,000 engagements, which is pretty amazing. But one thing that we can really stress is, Facebook ads work best if you have a habit of posting and it is integrated with all your other social media channels. So it's all about improving your your brand image online. So if you are posting more as well, your Facebook ads are going to, be more aligned and you're going to have a better social media presence.
Cool.
And then I've got a slide there.
And so basically what you do, we might just add the other channels that we kind of work with. We could add that in as well. But then what I would say is use the words this is what they are. You're the manager of these accounts, right? So you're basically telling, look, we're only spending $5 here, not would have, because otherwise it might sound like somebody else is sort of doing it, right? So we are. Right, so use that sort of, these are your client, this is what's happening. It's pretty bullish, right? It's awesome. So good stuff. Cool. I'll maybe switch back to, see if I can catch up here and switch back to sharing from over this side. And that's going to be awesome, Hannah, because you'll be in person doing that presentation too. And I think you've lined up a few pictures. People will take a few snapshots of you. You'll have the...
Yeah, and I can post that to the Facebook now that I run the Facebook for the chapter.
This is that second page I might put on there. So you know that I've talked about, you can't see it, but you could always talk about the fact that, we get over 2,000 people seeing our LinkedIn posts through the company. Our impressions for Twitter, we're getting over almost 2,500 in a 28-day period. We know that on insights for Google is just search alone is over two grand. And then I'll even put in your YouTube, and there's probably no reason why you guys couldn't have access. In fact, we'll put you all almost like managers on the YouTube channel, so you can actually, it saves you then perhaps having to go into System Hub to watch a lot of the video. I've got so much unlisted stuff sitting in there. So in our one-to-ones this week, just remind me to put you onto YouTube channel so you can see a lot of this stuff. Yeah?
Yep.
Sound okay? It's the first time I actually went and had a look at the analytics for YouTube, because a lot of it's not public. It's not huge, but at least we know it's okay. Cool. Probably not too much that we need to talk about in B&I. We spoke about Anthony was your first. He was literally a member. So I don't think last week we knew you were going to be a member and you attended. Enjoyed experience, Anthony. Did well.
Yeah. Well, you tell me. You were there.
Yeah. You held an end. It's good. No, you did well. Also, I think you're going to do really well in the chapter. This was just another review that we get. We've actually had, I think our reviews are getting close to 3 figures numbers now. Just finished my Dify Social setup and planning day with Dify Social, and the first time that a supplier took the time to show me what they do and to help me grow my business. They implemented all my socials and helped me understand the process and how they get results. It's more than pretty pictures on my social. It's about trying to represent who you are and what you need to achieve. I'm super excited to be working with this group over the next long-term period. Sounds pretty good. Thought I'd put it up there. But they are all on our website side of things. Joel Kleber is going to join us next week, and he does the video and digital marketing for gyms, the gyms group, right? So that'll be interesting. He's going to share his story and sort of what he's learned, particularly doing it with Jim Penman. So yeah, be good to have him along. It's pretty exciting, really. The exciting thing is for us is that he's actually been watching what we're doing, right? So he's kind of excited to come and meet with us and know of us, right? So that's pretty cool. Mainly, I think, because he's kind of got his own video digital side of things himself, but clearly he's doing a lot of gym storytelling at the moment, if you haven't already seen him. So do you want to reach out to Joel, or do you want me to intro you to Joel if you haven't already been introed to him on LinkedIn?
Are you talking to everyone?
Yeah, what do you think's the best bet?
Yeah.
Should I just say, Joel, we're looking forward to having you come along. Just thought I'd share your profile with
and then we can connect.
Yeah. Yeah.
Easy done.
Sweet. I'll do that. I'll make a note to do that as well. Cool. It's just more of the same this month in terms of just trying to pick a little item, Adrian. That's what we look to do. Just maybe pick an element this week that you've sort of had with maybe one of your clients, something that you want to just share with us. It could be a reporting type item. It could be something you've done for a client. Does that sound okay? People got time to sort of think about something they might want to do there. Could be an opportunity. I'm going to share an opportunity with you, which I think I'm pretty excited about. We don't know what might happen, but yeah, could be an opportunity. It could be a client story. It could be a BNI. Yeah, does that sound okay?
Sounds good.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. There's a lot of action happening with Emily's cat, Millie, isn't it? Oh no, what is it?
Mimi.
Mimi,
yeah.
not Millie. Millie is your surname. I was thinking that's too close. I knew it started with a me. Good morning. My name is Steve Hubbard, and I am your Dify social media marketer based here in Footscray, Melbourne, where I've lived, worked, and played for more than a dozen years. My local government is Maribyrnong Council. What I wanted to share with you this week is, so I often get people that sort of have something to sell, share with me on LinkedIn, and on this case it was, I'm fairly sure it was almost like an outsourced, maybe Filipino type company, where they are telling me about VoloPay, right, which is a payment service. And so when they sent me the message, I sort of sent a reply message back. I said, sure, I'm interested in having a demo and finding out a little bit more, because I think it saves you a bit of money on your credit card, international payments and things along those lines. And then I asked them, who's doing your social media marketing in Australia, right? So they've got a launch, so this VoloPay. Anyway, had a meeting with them Friday, finished up being able to sort of share with them, they're Singapore-based, that they might want to know of B1G1. Their platform doesn't include digital currency, so I sort of thought they might want to know of coin. And in Victoria, at least, there's an opportunity for businesses such as ours to claim a digital rebate if it's a plug-in to Xero, right? So there's a digital supplier, and so I suggested they probably want to be a supplier or confirm whether we could use them so that we could effectively trial. So the bottom line is, don't discard when people just come straight at you with a potential. It was a really fun meeting. It's a half an hour with them, sort of just sharing. It was a nice guy out of Sydney. I was sort of able to share about Roy as well, Emily, clearly, another mover and shaker sort of up there. But yeah, I feel like there's an opportunity. I don't know what might happen, but we'll just sort of see what might happen. There could be a collaborative opportunity with VoloPay, and I'll keep you up to date with it. So this week, what I would like to work with based on that is maybe people that are introducing a product or service, maybe a software into Australian market, and aren't necessarily after an agency to do everything for them. Steve from Dify Social. Now to you, Adrian. If I click on you.
Okay, I am a marketing graduate from VU, and I'm your Dify social media marketer here in Footscray, where I have lived, worked, and played for a few months now. So what I want to let everyone know about one of my clients is I had a meeting with Darren Cooper from Fusion Heating and Cooling last week, just to sort out a few issues that we had with LinkedIn, his LinkedIn company. So just about sort of educating him around the purpose around why we use LinkedIn company and getting all those issues sorted out with him. And my win for the week would be winning the Golden Mic at my chapter last week. So I would really like to work with and for trades. I'm looking to connect with landscapers this week. And next up is Anthony.
Good morning. My name is Anthony, and I'm a marketing graduate from La Trobe University. I'm a Dify social media marketer here in Epping, where I've lived, worked, and played for half a decade now. I'm originally from country Victoria, and my wins for the week is having a pretty successful BNI, first BNI member week. And I've got a opportunity to, as you all probably know, you got to have a meeting with a one-to-one with the president and all the top
Leadership.
of the members, leadership team. That's it. So that's going to be a good opportunity to express myself, get them to know more about me, and for me to learn more about them. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I would really like to work with and for cafes, get introduced to cafe owners, because as you all know, this one cafe is doing exceptionally well. So up next is Emily.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Emily. I am a marketer here in Holland Park, Brisbane, Queensland, where I've lived, worked, and played for just about a year. I'm originally from New Jersey. So my wins for the week, I had a conversation with one of our BNI members over the weekend. She asked about us doing her Facebook ads, but I'm actually excited to have this opportunity to teach her about all that we can do on Tuesday. I said that to her when we had our phone call. So I feel like this is both my win for the week and my client learning / support experience. I really go over all of the ins and outs of what Dify is capable of doing, and hopefully we can get her for more than just our ads. So this week I would like to work with and for businesses in, we actually had a visitor come that was in television, which I think is really cool. So if I could get to work with them, that would be great. So up next is Hannah.
Good morning, everyone. My name's Hannah, and I'm your marketing graduate from QUT. I'm your Dify social media marketer here in Brisbane, Queensland, where I've lived, worked, and played for 8 years. My win for the week was probably getting 2 new referrals. And my client learning for the week was we had Annette from Awards Australia pull me up on something misspelled, but I, said nicely, oh, actually, we get everything from your websites. And so she didn't even know something was misspelled on, their website. So it was a learning thing for both Dify and the client. I would really like to work with and for businesses in the, not an industry, but again, a florist. Apparently florists do really well in BNI, so I would love an introduction to a Brisbane-based florist. Next up, we have Ben.
Good morning, everyone. I am your marketing, advertising, and PR graduate from ECU and now studying applied digital marketing graduate certificate student as of this week as well. And I am your Dify social media marketer here in Wanneroo, Perth, where I've lived for the past 14 years. My wins for the week were setting up Denise from Bats and Balances advertising, setting up her advertising and doing her planning and doing her scheduling this week. And in terms of BNI, my chapter president is interested in coming along to one of our little meetings on Monday morning, potentially on the 8th. So that's kind of exciting. This week I really like to work with and for businesses who are tradies who still want to be actively social and like to show off their work.
Cool. Just on one of those requests, florists, I'm sure I saw, if you go on, I think, Hannah, there's a coin, there's the official coin trade, and I can't remember whether it was Brisbane or Perth now. I just know it wasn't Melbourne. But someone was promoting themselves. They were florists, and they were promoting themselves on Coin on the trade page, one of those trade groups.
Yeah, I'll have a look.
There is that particularly for Coin, search florist in your area, and I'm sure there's florists you could invite that are on Coin that would probably be interested in coming to your chapter.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Steve.
Yeah, sweet.
Okay, is it time for Adrian Ask? Okay, let's go with Anthony. What was Hannah's client learning?
Oh, shit.
I feel the same way.
Emily, do you know?
I actually do know this one, but this is the only one. Was it that something was misspelled on her website?
Oh,
Yeah, that's
I
right.
think
was
that's
thinking
it.
website, and then I just didn't want to say website, but yeah.
Yeah, no, but don't ask
Because
me
it
anything
happened to
else.
me. I explained what's his name?
Justin.
Alton Private.
Yeah.
Justin, yeah. He had some misspelled words on his website, and I just let him know about it too.
In no uncertain manner.
Yeah.
No. And actually, it's a good one. It's. I think we spoke about it in the 1-to-1, as it turned out, Hannah, didn't we? And it's not uncommon, right? So and certainly Adrian and I have experienced plenty of times in the past. Sometimes it can be our fault because we've cut and pasted and we've dropped off a letter accidentally. So what we just want to have is a good enough relationship with them that if they notice a mistake we've made, then that's fine. We'll edit it, we'll update it, right? But we also notice things on their website at times that they perhaps should be doing. More of an issue sometimes can be how heavy they are around talking I, sometimes in the reporting, particularly, even if you want to let me know, look, it's a real pain, I know in the past when I've been doing it, it's a pain when you have to change your wording because it's too individual. So, for instance, Ben, if you're doing Bass and balances and all of a sudden you're reading a whole lot of I, when in actual fact that probably should be we, or we want to use a lot more you, then sometimes you could just make little suggestions. At the end of the day, remember, you guys are marketers, and so the planning session is a good place to start, right? You can always give them that little bit of feedback, but it doesn't really stop at the planning session, right? So as you go forward and you're getting a better understanding and you're looking at their website more often, there might be other little things that you see, and you might want to give them a few little tips. That could be just a B&I. It could be just that, or you just make a little note on the base camp and just say, hey, I noticed this was an issue. Just thought I'd let you know. You know what I mean? Or I thought I'd suggest that you might want to do this. Yeah. Does that sound okay?
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, let's go. Ben, what was Anthony's win for the week?
BNI, attendance post BNI, and doing really well in BNI.
That's right. And let's go with Hannah. Who was Ben looking to connect with?
Tradies actively on social media.
Yep. Okay, it's time for a stretch. Do you want to help us out, Emily?
Sure. So put your hands like that, and then just you can lean from side to side. Yeah.
While you're there, I've shown you this before. If you've done that already, can I get you to do this and then see if you can let go and open it on either side? Like that.
Oh.
Did you do it, Emily?
Yeah.
It's not easy.
No, it took me a second.
Adrian's not trying.
No, I can't do it. I know I can't do that.
Oh. When I've shown you before, you just got to make sure that your right hand's are on top of the left hand. That's all. That's the key, is the right hand.
Yeah.
The key is putting your right hand on top. Oh, Anthony. No, that was close. All right.
What's the photo of the day? What are we?
Oh, yeah. Who's taking the photo?
What are we posing? I can still take it.
You know what I thought was pretty funny? I don't know if you saw the vaccination started yesterday with ScoMo.
Yeah.
And he said, oh, let's do V for vaccination. And the lady goes. And so let's do V for vaccination.
All right.
We sure?
You're sure about
do
this?
it the proper way.
We sure?
Maybe we should do it the proper way, the way it was intended.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Yes, fair.
Ready? 3, 2, 1. All right. That turned out pretty well.
Cool. All right. And should we take a quick hiatus?
Yes, please.
Sounds good.
Mum made me lasagna, so there's. She dropped it off last night. Yesterday. So there's my food for the next 2 days.
Neat.
Sweet.
That is a fair shout.
Yeah. So just put it in the oven now, ready to go for lunch.
God damn. That talk of food is making me hungry. God,
I remember the osteotherapist that used to be at your chapter, Adrian, Michael. He was prepared to do osteo sessions for lasagna. He had a nice old lady that used to come on in, I think maybe once a month. And he said, and I remember him standing up one time, he's quite a funny guy, and he said, yep, so more than happy to take Mama's lasagna in terms of payment. Thank you very much. So this week, if you've got a mama that makes any speciality, send her in.
Steve, is it all right if my chapter president visits on the 8th of March, by the way?
Yeah, so what do they do? Sure.
He's a Sparky.
Sparky?
He's a Sparky, but he was just like, I said that I pretty much do this every, like a mini BNI every Monday morning. And if anyone wants to come along, they're more than welcome to. And he was like, yeah, I want to come along and see what you guys do. I was like, all right, cool. So, yeah, he's interested.
Yeah, awesome. And I think maybe... certainly we got capacity to sort of do that, haven't we, right? So, yeah, so on the 8th...
I believe it's the 8th. I know next week he said he couldn't. It's either the 8th or the 15th. And I know on the 15th you've already got a visit, so then I'll push it back to the 23rd.
Sure.
Which would be the 23rd? The 22nd.
22nd.
Yeah. If we've got a visitor already.
It's the 8th sounds fine by me. I'll be on. I just know that there is an option in Victoria to take that as a public holiday. So,
shit! Am I on a public holiday today? No, I'm on a public holiday next week.
Yeah. So, there you go.
Now, Ben, you're on it.
So I guess that's the reality, isn't it? So I think, as you said, the fact that you even said, shit, am I on a public holiday today, sort of suggests that I'll certainly be here on Monday. And I'm certainly, next Monday or whatever Monday it is. So that's all fine. Just how it plays out. Cool. That sounds good. Well done. That was a good, that's a good idea. And it's good for us. And, the idea is maybe what we just need to work out is that what do we want to, how long are your presentations normally? So, because, you'd normally do a 10-minute, would you, or not?
8 minutes and then 2 minutes of question time. So 8 minutes.
Yeah.
So that would be the only thing, is that maybe if we're going to have BNI members come and present, maybe we don't give them more than 6. You know what I mean? We sort of say, okay, do you reckon you could come and give us a 6-minute presentation around, and it could just be his normal presentation, right? So if he wants to come and do that, is that what you'd said to him or no?
I just sort of invite him along. When he confirms his date, when I confirm the date, I'll tell him what he needs to do. It's just that his last 6-minute presentation, or his last presentation, was also online. Yeah. Like he hasn't done an in-person presentation for the past year, right? Because he's like, his presentation last year was in lockdown. This year's one was in lockdown, and now he's coming along to our little networking thing, and it's going to be online again. So, yeah, I'm sure he'll be fine with it.
Yeah, unfortunately, I can't afford to fly him over, but well, as you said, it probably just gives him the capacity then to make sure that he always, so he could just dig it up and have it so that he can give an online presentation. It's up to people, how they want to do it. But if they are in BNI, it kind of makes sense for us to, a bit like Adrian and Hannah shared today. It's that, gives them the chance to sort of give a bit of an overview so that we then know what a Sparky type person presents, if we don't have Sparkies in our chapter.
Yeah, so, which one of you guys, do you all have Sparkies in your chapters?
Yeah.
We do.
Yeah.
I'm still learning off the top of my head.
Oh, okay, right, fair.
It's only Anthony that may not.
I don't recall having a Sparky. I know we got other trades.
You know what might be better as well is that maybe what we suggest to people is that they also they potentially just talk through their gains. I don't know. So the only thing is 6 minutes. That they just talk through how have they found BNI, how long have they been in BNI, what helps them in their business, that sort of stuff. And so maybe we could open up to him and sort of say, hey, would you be, we'll give you, say, 5 minutes or so. Do you want to just, yeah.
I'm thinking gains will probably, like we did with Suzanne, where she just went through her gains, but not as extensive.
But that's right. She certainly we drew it out a lot more because we had more time. But yeah, more just their story, their business story. That's all. That's the thing with Joel. I don't know if I shared you what I sort of listed to him. I've given him 10 minutes just because I think he's not BNI, and it's more around how we might sort of come up with. But for him, just offer him up. What would he like to do? We think it would be advantageous for us just to hear his business story and how BNI has helped his business. That's probably the gist of it, I reckon. Yeah?
Yep.
Yeah. Cool. So I might just share this part here. We're talking about... all right. Let me share my screen. A lot of the time, it's stuff that's come across my desk or stuff that I've gone looking for around, learning. So you guys know that each week I then put it onto the COVID page, right? So, or in this case, or actual fact, well, the most recent thing that we did. So we've got a new widget, by the way, on B1G1. But we did our giving on the weekend. So you guys, it's part of your story now. So we wouldn't be giving to Rainforest in Australia or giving Marmite sandwiches in South Africa if you, Ben, and you, Hannah, weren't part of our journey now, right? So it's something you should be proud of, and it's something you should be mentioning. And for Emily, Anthony, and Adrian, we'd be giving less to .com mob, so to Indigenous communities around Australia, if you guys weren't part of it, right? So it's good to be able to tell that story in your own words and that you are part of that journey, right? And so that's been updated, and it's got an updated widget. It happens each time. But what I do on a Sunday night each week is I just update this COVID communications page. So clearly now, with certain things above what's happening, but mainly around pretty much ever since COVID came into being, I've been updating on a weekly basis our posts. Now, I know you can't see that, so I'll let you know what it's saying here, right? Because not all of them are necessarily relevant. But we already spoke about last week that we're now on the club, well, individually, we've invited people to the Clubhouse app. We know that we can't get Ben on yet because he's not on the iPhone, and I've made the mistake more than once of sending it out to people who aren't on iPhones or iPads, which is annoying for those people, but also a bit of a shame because I don't know how to take it back once you've actually invited someone. I tried to invite Yoss as well, Adrian, so you know.
Isn't Yoss already on there?
No, he doesn't have an iPhone. He's on
okay.
What do you call it? Android. Anyway, one of the things so you guys know that I've sort of replaced going to chapters online with CEU. So you guys are all doing at least one CEU or listening to something on BNI each week?
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'll get you guys to share what you've listened to, but because this isn't about me, but it's just so long as you know that sometimes something will strike me. One of the ones, Ben, which was really timely, which I didn't put on here, but I was sharing with Hannah, I think, was about empowering teams, right? And she talked about the fact that if you always carried your child around with you, they would never learn to walk, right? So it's important for me to hear that, right? So it was timely because there's that element you need to let people walk, right? Clearly, they're not going to walk as fast or necessarily in a straighter line as what you might when they first start, right? But you've got to allow them that. And again, we're about doing things here. If we make mistakes, nothing's final, nothing's fatal, right? We can always get things happening. So I want you guys to feel empowered. I want to feel supported. And so that was just one. As I said, what I'm finding great value around listening to the stuff on BNI because I've never listened to it before. So the BNI Business Boosters, particularly for me, is really beneficial. I'm finding I'm hearing a lot of good stuff, right? I think I might have told you about Lamppost Larry last week. And then the other thing that we might talk about next week, but it was a Seth. I don't know if any of you guys get Seth's blog to your email. I get Seth's blog comes through. I don't even know how I registered for it, but often there'll be something that they're usually only little snippets. And today, which I shared, was about the algorithm, and clearly all social media have algorithms, right? But Seth was talking about that we're all involved in the algorithm, whether we're just a consumer looking at Facebook or we're a business person trying to use it in a particular way. We are all involved in the algorithm. So I'll get you guys to have a look at that this week, and maybe we can have a chat about that next week. But it talks about the give and take. But the reality is, what we're trying to do with the algorithm is good. We're not doing and using the algorithm in any way that we're not trying to benefit the people we're involved with. We're not smoke and mirrors, right? You know what I mean? So the overriding story is, yes, social media is all around algorithm and data, but it's how you use the algorithm that's important, right? So privacy, that sort of stuff too, right? So we're all about using it for good. If that, it's kind of in our makeup, right? So that's my little share around some of the things that have come across my desk. But is there anything that you've listened to in the last week that you want to share from a CEU perspective, or that's come across your desk?
I did listen to the fear one.
Yeah. Who was that? Was that on it? Was that a BNI one, Emily?
Yeah, you shared it. So it was the Graham Godfrey from the UK.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, that was it.
So I found that one a really powerful one, right? Because he's a lot about mindfulness and what do you call mindset is what they call, isn't it? Yeah. So and with a lot of these people, particularly given we've in this room almost got that sort of global outlook with Emily's connection to the US and Ben's connection. Graham Godfrey is a UK guy, Ben. I found that they're very open to connecting on LinkedIn. Right, so you basically say, "Hey, Graham, just listen to who's Anthony. You thought my middle name might be Graham. That's funny, anyway." But yeah, Graham runs a podcast in the UK, and he hasn't been in BNI for 5 or 10 years, I think, for quite a while. But he was in BNI, right? But he's all about mindset and positive growth and all that sort of stuff. So that's a good one, Emily. And so we've got access to this information, right? It's free. Might as well make the most of it, right? And I'm not. This isn't a quiz to make sure that you took down notes. So I didn't even know that's what that was called, Power of One, right? So there you go. It just shows how I pick up on things. Don't necessarily know which one shared it. So I don't know. Again, same thing. You don't even know where you heard it, but if there was something that you might have listened to last week, or it could even be the education within the chapter that that resonated with you. Anybody else?
Your most recent TED talk. I've forgotten the name, but I just remember all your TED ones that you've shared with us, or I've checked them out and they've been pretty on point.
That was probably the matcha one, right? So
might have been. Sounds familiar, yeah.
And you know what? One of the things that that Roy said to me, right? So again, Roy is 10 years older, right? So in a way, well, he's not 10 years older. He's maybe is. Let's call him he's a decade older, right? And a decade wiser. But I think, again, it was a Clubhouse thing, right, where he was sort of sharing. I almost had private training, I think. It felt like it anyway, right? I'm not sure if it was training or counselling. But anyway, but, I think one of Roy's strengths is that he gives a lot of time to people he cares about and he sees opportunity with. But he suggested to me that he spends very little time with people that he can't see a logical opportunity where it's not going to be mutually advantageous. He gave by way of an example of a guy that he'd been in with BNI for the whole time he'd been in his previous BNI right in Sydney, where he might have had 10 referrals potentially from that guy, and they were never anywhere near the sort of business that he would want to work with, right? And so what he had was a very polite relationship with that person, right? So they kind of never do a lot more than just be polite to one another, if that makes sense, right? So maybe the lesson for me in that is I tend to feel like we can help most people And so sometimes I invest maybe too much time in people that aren't really after the help, and certainly may not also be after my opinion as well. You know what I mean? So I think, again, I can only say what my lesson from that sort of feedback was, and it does marry up with that TED Talk, because that TED Talk you were talking about. So that's the Graham one, but the TED Talk you were talking about was that matcha one, givers gain, and I think the high percentage of us are what they call matchers, right? So we're neither givers or takers. We're actually kind of matchers. If you give to me, I'll probably give something back to you. I'll keep you in mind, right? So it's not as easy just to be a pure giver. But I think with what Roy was saying to me is it is probably a bit of a risk to just be a pure giver. I'm sort of doing a little bit in my BNI chapter. I've had this conversation with Hannah. I figure that if I keep giving, whether anybody's going to give back to me or not, at some point I'm going to break them down. That's my sense, right? I figure if I keep doing the numbers, keep doing the one-to-ones, keep thinking of people that I think they should be connected with, then sooner or later they'll go, okay, bugger it, I'm going to think of him for something. You know what I mean? So I think that's and I've almost feel forced into that, if that makes sense. I don't know if that's the best way. But anyway, the bottom line is we're not all pure. It's not natural to be a giver necessarily, right? Because generally we want something back. So I don't know if that was a takeaway from that TED Talk, Anthony, if that's the one, right? Yeah,
that was the previous one.
That was the previous TED Talk.
Yeah.
What was this TED Talk?
I swear there was one in between it.
Okay.
That I couldn't find it anyway.
Okay. Oh, I know. I do know. I think I do know the other one. Yeah, I sort of saw that one later. Yeah, it was the previous one. Hey, listen, so that we can perhaps get better at this, maybe this week when you are listening to something, or something happens, I often, when I'm doing the one-to-ones, if something's happened the day or two before, I'll say to you, can you remind me that, maybe share that as something that you might talk about and share with the group, that you find, I mean, something that strikes me, Ben, when we were doing the event and the event promotion for Bass and Balances, I had something I hadn't seen happen before, right? When we were promoting the event for them, right, Ben? And I guess for Ben, it wasn't like something he hadn't seen happen before because he was just doing it. But all of a sudden, it was asking us to connect the business manager and almost the payment into then promoting an event. Correct, Ben? So we weren't able to basically just say, no, this isn't a free event. This is a paid event.
Yeah, because I think Facebook's got a default setting. If you do an online event, then you can't put it as a price on there. So it just lists it at free, which is obviously very frustrating because it's not a free event.
Yeah, so there is some takeaways in that. So in fact, one of the things I'm going to just do, I'll put it on here, but add marketers to YouTube as managers. The reason I'll do that is because clearly within our business, as far as services go, pretty much all of our stuff has been recorded. So you can either go to sessions that you were part of or sessions that other people were a part of, and it may well be the easiest way to find things as well, right? But the other thing is, as I said, if you can maybe for yourselves, great if we can have a listen if there is one that but I'll just be like you guys, right? I'll share the one that struck out. Mostly I would have probably shared it also to but if we can maybe share a CEU like type learning, right?
Did you want that in our LinkedIn chat? Or?
Well, maybe it's just something. Oh, no. I'm just thinking each week when we get to this part, if you can just give in mind, and it might be something that we talk about when we actually, when we're doing our one-to-one. So maybe we'll remind each other then as well, right? So that there's something that we're learning along the way. I don't want to be the hog of these, right? But clearly there's times that things happen that are different. So Hootsuite was another example where I was noticing when I'm dragging my Hootsuite stuff across, when I spoke to Dropbox, that was then downloading everything to my laptop. So I had a systems error then, right? Which is why I put it in for you guys so that you know that that's an issue that can happen. But there is a particular addition for Hootsuite that you could do with your settings so that if you're in with any of your clients now, you probably need to do it each time if it's happening for you, right? So, for instance, for you, Emily, where the most likely scenario where it's going to play out, if every time you're grabbing an image or something from Roy that he's shared with you and you're putting it into his Hootsuite and it starts downloading all Dropbox onto your hard drive, then you need to add this plugin so it's called Dropbox for Hootsuite.
Okay.
Then it will stop that happening. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I was just deleting it every time.
Yeah. So I think if you go into his particular Hootsuite, you should be able to add it, and it shouldn't be an issue anymore. Right?
Cool.
So yeah. So again, any sort of learnings that you come across, share them with others. Right. So this is where and Ben, if you're going back and you're studying again, maybe you'll get a gem from that as well. Who knows, right? So you might have other things that you could take in. But, because literally I do get it because it's things that come across my desk because it's an email that I might have signed up to at some point. So it doesn't have to come from BNI University or whatever. It could come from our one-to-one. It could come from who knows where, yeah? But just good if we're sharing with one another.
Yeah.
Numbers. I think the main thing to probably talk about with the numbers, which I don't want to spend a lot of time but this week was that starting in your language to talk about return on investment, right? Let's start to talk about eyeballs, engagement, traffic, and return on investment. Where marketers at the end of the day, they want to know, how am I going to get a return on investment? And that's a question we all need to be able to answer. We're going to give you return on investment because you're never going to have had so many people seeing communications as what you're going to have with when we're working with you, right? And we've all got great case studies now that we can point to, right? And so I'm sure you've already had people come at you and saying, how can you guarantee I'm going to sell more of this? Have you had people already ask you that? And maybe they haven't asked in that sort of tone, but have you had that sort of conversation with people already? Not really?
Not specifically.
Not really? Okay, well, you will. Maybe at times I get it because it's people that are maybe blokes age similar to me coming at me with that sort of leads mentality. How can you guarantee? So for us, Anthony, a good example would be your property investing now. He's going to want that at some point. He's going to want to make sure that he is getting that that person signing up to his appointment to get the free offer, right? Yeah. Tony, right? So, and he's a great guy. So again, and he has been educated around look at relationship first, sale second. But the honest answer to what they're saying is we can't guarantee that you're going to sell more. That's the honest answer. But what we can guarantee is we're going to give you every opportunity to sell more by way of the communications that we do. Does that make sense in terms of a distinction?
Yeah.
And the point I was trying to raise before, Hannah, is that it does make a difference in terms of we need to be really saying, hey, most of the time we're spending $5. So in other words, when it's different, so for instance, with Towards Australia, where it is different, they've seen the potential if they spend $10 a day, they're kind of hoping they're going to get double the advantage, right? It's probably a smart strategy. They want double the reach, double the engagement or traffic, right? And realistically, that's the proof in the pudding. So when people start to up their spend, why are they doing that? Anybody? If you're upping your advertising spend, why are you going to do that?
More results.
Because you're going to make more money, probably.
Okay.
That's the reality. When people start adding more money, remember we had it with the politicians. What else can I do, Steve? What else can I do, Haley, at the time, right? You could spend more. Realistically, more posts may not give you more money. What you could also do, you could share it to a group. which is what we suggest to a number of our clients, right? So you could share it to a buy and sell group locally. Yeah, that's what you could do. You can engage more on your LinkedIn posts. You can engage more on all of your posts if you want. So what else? So when people say, what else? The general obvious answer is spend more on your advertising if you don't want to do more engaging. Yeah. So anyway, I did go more into, but I guess what I'm saying to you is I've not been as clear as what I'm getting with my why. Ultimately, the why with everybody is they want to sell more. So they want more return on their investment. Yeah. Which we're all aware of that language. Just looking at time, we're all aware of now. I talked about if you do have issues like that, like I've had myself this week, just let me know because, for instance, if people hadn't known, I wouldn't have known them when Ben goes, hey, why can't I see Bass and Balances on Dropbox? Now it's easy for me to know it's because of the way I've named things. So if you put an ampersand and in, or if you use a /, then it's not visible on our hard drives. So often, if you've got an issue with something, there's a good chance that others will as well. Same as when Hannah was having an issue sharing her entire screen. She had an issue, so did our clients, right? So then we worked out how we fix that issue together. Yep. Clubhouse app, those of you that have got on, I will this week, if we don't get too busy, try and set up a session where we could come in, and this Friday, even if it's just us that go on, and maybe we'll invite Roy on as well because Roy will be able to tell us his two bobs, right? Yeah, I'll let you know. And then I don't know how we include Ben. Yep.
Yep.
Have you had a listen? Those of you that have been, did you finish up going in and having a listen by any chance?
I just had a little browse.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, I just looked around it. I haven't joined any rooms yet.
Yeah, so if you ever do go on in a room, then sometimes it's worth following some of the speakers. Yeah, once you do, that's how you follow. Yes, looking at people. It's a bit like when we go and follow who they're following, right? So you can see who other people are following, you can see who I'm following, that sort of thing, right? Same sort of deal. Yeah. If you do get questions, which you're going to get it in your BNI chapters, right? It's just another layer. It's not a takeover. It's not a takeover channel, right? You can't replace it with the ones. So it's not a replacement for any of the channels we're currently using. It's just an enhancement. And I believe a particular enhancement to the social media networking, LinkedIn. You're probably some people with Facebook and maybe their Instagram and probably their Twitter. In fact, it is the networking sites. It's really an enhancement to those networking sites. Yeah. Just if you get those questions, which you probably will start getting, at least from the younger members in your chapter. Cool. We're still to work out when we're going to New Jersey.
Yeah, I should just thought about that. I've sent her an email, Patty.
We already talked about Coin today. We've already talked about who's joining us next week. And we've already got our updated slide, and I can stop sharing. One of the ones, actually, I think I heard it on Clubhouse, and it did make me very thankful for you guys that's still in the room, right? Because there was a lady that was sharing, and maybe she works with athletes. It could have been this lady that was on Clubhouse. She's an Australian lady from Sydney that was now working with athletes quite successfully in New York, right? And she was talking about one of the things that she wishes she could tell her 21 to 24-year-old self. I think she was roughly that sort of age. Or maybe there was someone in the room that asked her the question of how she could get a job in the industry and blah, blah, blah. Right? And one of the things that she said is a little bit like, we've gone through this experience together, right? So you guys are still with me, and I'm very thankful that we're here doing this together, right? But it did remind me, we're on a journey, however long that journey takes. What she was saying is that she was lucky because she continued to just get herself. She just learned, and she just took on education from the people she was working with, and she grew with those people. And a lot of that was internships initially, right? And so every time she was doing these internships and she was just growing and learning, a lot of the people that were her peers jumped into immediately what looked like really high enticing jobs the great jobs. And she found that what happened is they did that for a time, but they found it wasn't enticing for a long time, right? So they got to a point where they fell out, and then they were kind of behind where she was, because she'd stayed in an organisation to get the very most that she felt that she could get. And I don't mean this is a taker, right? So this is give and take. I'm getting the benefit of having you continued in the journey. Maybe what it is that what can look enticing, and this isn't again against Haley or Jake, where it's what's been attractive, or even a Trisha, but maybe, just maybe, it did make me think whether in 2 and 3 years' time, whether they might not look back and think, maybe I should have spent more time and I was always going to get that next opportunity anyway. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking your investment in time at the moment is not a wasted investment. I believe, right? I believe that. You guys ultimately have to be the people that make that choice. But sometimes what looks great, it doesn't matter what work you're in. You guys all know this, right? Ben and I have talked about it. We know it, particularly when we're in a job that we don't especially like. It's obvious, right? But it doesn't matter what we do. There's always just different problems and different issues that we're dealing with, or things that we don't like as much as that we might like, right? So anyway, I just wanted to, given the last slide, just thank you for continuing on. We're all learning. We're all traveling a journey. I'm loving the fact that I think the opportunities are only going to get bigger and better. And I'm also mindful I've taken you over time, so my apologies. Any round the room feedback? Adrian?
I've got a meeting today with one of my clients. Got my presentation this week. Actually, I've got to get a door prize. I don't know if anyone has any ideas what I can get.
In a brown paper bag, you can buy a bottle of wine, and they don't have to know it's a bottle of wine.
Well, we're not doing in person, so I don't think I can do that. I guess I could send them a voucher.
You can mail it then.
Can mail it, yeah. Okay.
I think nowadays you can do, say, a gift certificate to the movies. Which is about $15 or something like that, maybe.
I don't know. I've been told it has to be related to my industry.
It's better if it can be. Yeah, but
we do door prizes.
I'll buy a Facebook plushie or something like that. Find one online.
Yeah. Given we have Coin nowadays, Adrian, need to get on Coin. You can gift him a Coin related restaurant. Anyway, I think that whilst Ben has been told that mainly what a lot of people still go back to alcohol when it's in normal, I think a gift voucher isn't too bad because it is on, and you could say, well, you could do that online. We work with a lot of online businesses. So a gift voucher is often a winner. People like getting a gift voucher. Yeah.
Okay, yep. I think that's about it. I've got to call a couple of clients this week and sort some stuff out. Anthony, what do you have on this week?
Happy to be here, Steve. Loving the opportunity. And just scheduling and one-to-one and some more BNI related learning. And I've got to log in a one-to-one that I did Friday. Just getting my head around doing that consistently and trying to figure out a consistent schedule where I do that. So that's all.
Yeah, everybody's okay with their scheduling, though. I think I usually talk to you guys about this. Now we've clearly got plenty of space in terms of we could almost allow a day a week if we wanted to, but it's not as easy to know who might have been the last person in nowadays. But everybody's going okay. Most of you probably aren't. Have you had an issue, Ben?
No. I'm saying I'm the last person to log in. I do mine on Friday, I'm pretty sure. So I'm the last person.
No, I do mine on Sundays.
All right. Emily's the last person.
Yeah. Well, clearly it's not been an issue. What do they say? No news is good news, because I'm sure someone would sing out if they're having a problem. I guess we just use the LinkedIn messenger if you ever have a problem now. Who was last in, folks? Make sure you've signed out.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, Emily, what do you have on?
I have BNI Go for Green 1-to-1 all tomorrow, and then I'm gonna try to figure out if I can go to New Jersey on Thursday. I have to write to her.
Mm-hmm. And are we going to do a TikTok, Em?
Yeah, I still don't have a picture from Hannah, maybe?
Hannah's got her beanie one, but she might want
Yeah,
to.
I sent the beanie one.
Okay, I wasn't sure if you wanted to send another. Okay, then yeah, I'll do it this week.
Sweet. That was actually that was our most popular, particularly when I promoted the TikTok at one point. That was our most value for money promotion. Or maybe it was Christmas. That's probably why, though. It had our little faces. There you go. But anyway.
Ben, what do you have on?
What have I got on? I've got my BNI this Thursday. I'm going to go to BNI Evolution on Friday because the agricultural business planner person who's interested in our services is presenting. So I figured it would be a good idea to go along to see him present so I can find out more about his business. Speaking of industries and hate and work, I have just got a bunch of messages to say that Rivers has all of its tills down and nothing's working at work. So I am about to go into a world of shit.
Yeah, you had a.
I need to have a chat with Denise because she wants to start sharing posts into groups, and I was like, that's fine. I did that on Wednesdays, and then she was like, certain groups only allow sharing on certain days. I was like, well, give me a list.
Oh, no, you don't do that. That's not your job. No, that's because you're not the representative of the business. If she wants to do it, do it. Get her to. You don't do it too much. Get her to do it. And so basically, because there's some businesses you can share as the business into groups, but no, it's much more powerful if she does it. It'll be much more successful. So,
okay.
Yeah. So point her in the right direction. Say, great, Denise, yeah, that'd be awesome if you do that. That'll really help you.
Okay, sure,
yeah,
we'll do.
Yeah. But if she's got a problem or doesn't know how to do it, then give her a hand. But no, if you do it, it's a bit like you inviting people to like her company page, same thing. It's nowhere near as powerful if you do it. It's much more powerful if she does. And she's a big networker. So just on a personal basis, you haven't talked about the casino for a while. Have you managed to stay away?
I had textbooks to buy. I had uni textbooks to buy, which I didn't think I was going to have to buy post-studies. And that just absolutely killed my bank account. Okay. So, yeah, no spending money. And I've just had to spend like $800 on orthotics. So, like, that's not happening as well.
Right.
Which was a good referral for my physiotherapist in my chapter.
Ah, sweet.
So that was neat. But, yeah, no casino as of late.
I'm on a Feb fast from punting, so I got paid to work at Caulfield on the weekend and didn't spend a cent. Just watch some fast animals run around.
Okay, Hannah, what about you?
I've got a few referral calls to make, and I've got my BNI on Wednesday presentation. 1-to-ones. I normally do them straight after while I'm there. That's it, I think.
You're going to smash it on. That'll be, it's going well there.
Good.
If you want to sign, I'll have a look at your presentation. Just add a couple of those little slides if you like, and then I'll let you know when I've added the ones from Adrian's sort of one into your one, and then you can then go back into it.
Perfect. Yeah, it's just called New, Steve. So that's
no worries. Cool.
Alrighty. I guess that's it. Thank you for a great meeting.
Yeah,
have a good one.
Thanks, guys. Have a good day.
See you, everyone.
See you guys.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.